Next topic in the allocation of resources is market failure. Market failure, it doesn't mean the market failure for stock exchange, it's different. So what is included is in the learning outcome statements, the definition of market failure. Within the definition, we will need to learn the basic terms: public goods, merit goods, demerit goods, social benefits, external benefits, private benefits, social cost, external cost, private cost, all will be discussed. Second learning outcome statement, the causes of market failure. What causes the market failure? Specifically with respect to public goods, merit, demerit goods, and etc. We'll discuss in detail. And then finally, what are the consequences of market failure with respect to the above areas only. And remember, no demand supply diagram is needed at O levels for reflecting the market failure. So let us discuss these learning outcome statements one by one, starting first with the key definitions. The key term first is public good. What is public good? Public good means a commodity or a service that is provided without profit to all members of a society. Any commodity or service provided without profit to all members of a society. This commodity or service may be provided by the government, or it may be provided by a private individual like me, or a private organization like XYZ. So public goods are not always provided by the government. They may be provided by a private or an individual or a private organization. So what are public goods basically? Fresh air, knowledge, lighthouses, national defense provided by the government, flood control system provided by the government, street lighting, it may be provided by the government or a private individual, right? A street light is an example of pure public good. What is a pure public good? A pure public good is a good that is non-excludable and non-rival. What does it mean? Non-excludable and non-rival. Non-excludable means, first let me write the term, non-excludable. What does it mean? Non-excludable means if I do not pay, I cannot be prevented from benefiting from the street light. If I don't pay for street lights, no one can prevent me from benefiting myself with the street lights. So a public good, a pure public good is non-excludable if non-paying consumers cannot be prevented from accessing it. I do not pay for street light, but still I can get the benefit. So pure public goods are non-excludable. And they're also non-rival in consumption. Non-rival. What does it mean? What is non-rivalry? Non-rivalry means that consumption of a good by a person does not reduce the amount available for other. Right? If I use street light, it does not reduce the street light available for another person. So the pure public good is non-excludable and non-rival. And remember, public goods are commodities or service that are provided by the government or private individual or an organization without profit. Okay, makes sense. Next, merit goods. So merit goods are basically commodity or a service which a government thinks that people should have, whether they can afford it or they cannot afford it. Education and health are specifically merit goods. Government thinks that people should have them. Government thinks that money should be spent on education and health for the people, because these goods will have a future positive impact upon the society. A healthy workforce, an educated population, in the long run it will benefit the society. So merit goods are the goods which government thinks that people should have, whether they can afford it or they cannot afford it, like education and health. Demerit goods, to the contrary, are opposite to merit goods. Demerit goods are thought to be bad for you. Alcohol, cigarettes, various types of drugs. So the problem with the market system is that in this case the market fails. Why? Because these goods are overconsumed if left to the free market alone. So the government should intervene. Government should intervene to provide public goods. Government should intervene to provide merit goods. Government should intervene to stop the overconsumption of demerit goods like alcohol and cigarettes, drugs, etc. Next are private costs. Private costs are the costs that are paid by the firm or an individual for a particular good or service. So the private cost is any cost that a person or a firm pays in order to buy a good or a service, or in order to produce a good or a service. In other words, let's say if I'm a manufacturer, so the amount of money I pay to acquire labor is my private cost. The amount of money I pay to acquire material, machinery, or anything else is my private cost. So the cost that I pay to acquire material or any good or any service is my private cost. The private cost that I pay, it does not take into account any negative effect or harm caused as a result of the production. For example, if I am engaged in manufacturing chemicals for the industry, maybe dyes, manufacturing of paints. So during this manufacturing process, the money I pay for acquiring material, machinery is my private cost. And I do not care that this production process may have some harmful effect upon the environment. Poisonous gases are being released into the atmosphere. Waste from my machine is being discharged into the water runnels. These negative effects, these harms to the society, to the environments, they are ignored. So in private costs, we do not consider, we do not take into account any negative effect or the harm that we are causing to the society. Private benefits, to the contrary, opposite to these. Private benefits are the benefits that I as a manufacturer enjoy by selling my goods or service. So a private benefit is a benefit derived by an individual or a firm directly involved in buying and selling. Like I sell my goods and services, this is my benefit. If you buy a good and service and use its benefit, it's your private benefit. So the private benefit to a consumer can be expressed as satisfaction. If I'm a consumer, the benefit I draw by using a good or service, it is the satisfaction I drive for it. It is called utility in economics. And the private benefit with regard to a firm is the revenue, the profit that is generated by selling a good or service. So private costs are the cost to the firm or an individual, ignoring the external impacts. And private benefits are the benefits to a firm or an individual in a certain transaction. External costs are the costs incurred by a firm or an individual or a society other than those who incur the private cost. Now, for example, if I have a chemical plant or a chemical processing facility, the cost I pay is my private cost. But the cost paid by the society, by the people who get sick because of pollution, is external cost. So the cost paid by me is a private cost, and cost paid by others because of my action or transaction is external cost. Likewise, the benefit I drive as a consumer, as a satisfaction or a utility, or a benefit driven by a firm in the form of profit is called private benefit. But comparatively, external benefit are the benefits driven by others. Benefits driven by business or individuals are private benefits in their own individual capacities, and benefits driven by others, like you buy a good or a service, the benefit you drive is your benefit. So it's the external benefit compared to the private benefit. For example, let's say it's a business A. The cost this business pays is the private cost. The benefit this business drives is the private benefit. But to all other entities, individuals, organizations outside A's geographical boundary, they are called external benefits and external costs. Fine, it makes sense now. Now we have an important arrangement now. A social cost basically is the sum of two costs. private costs plus external costs. Cost borne by individual or firms, cost borne by the rest of the society and other individuals or firms. Private benefits plus external benefits. Sum of these two is called social benefits. So social cost is private cost plus external cost. Social benefits, private benefits plus external benefits. All right, so we can say that social cost is sum of private cost and external cost. Social benefits, sum of private benefits and external benefits. Now, what is market failure? That's the main issue. Market failure is a situation where social costs of an activity or a transaction is more than social benefits. This is a market failure where the overall cost to the society and individuals is more than the overall benefits. So such an activity is not desirable. This results in market failure. Next area is causes of market failure with reference to public goods. We discussed previously, public goods are goods provided by an individual or firm without profit incentive. So what is a market failure with reference to public goods? If provision of public goods is left on free market alone, free market will not provide public goods. There will be lack of public goods. That means in this situation, government should intervene. If left alone on the free market will not provide street lights. Free market will not provide education, healthcare facilities, because in free market economic system, profit is the incentive. So in order to correct the market failure in free market economic system, government should intervene. Merit goods are the goods that government thinks people should have. Merit goods would be undersupplied in free market economic system. Government should intervene to correct the market failure. Next, demerit goods. Free market economic system will encourage the consumption of demerit goods, drugs, alcohol, cigarettes. So free market wants profit. Now government should intervene to stop or reduce the consumption of demerit goods. The goods with external benefits, like public transport, has external benefit because use of public transport will result in less congestion on roads, less pollution. Resultantly, these are goods for the society, for the environment. The market failure will occur when these goods with positive external benefits, they will be less used. Government should intervene to encourage the use of public transport. Then abuse of monopoly power. What is a monopoly? Monopoly is a single firm dominating the market. If you allow free market economic system to operate in an economy, the powerful individuals, powerful firms will dominate the market. They will raise the prices and reduce the output so as to maximize their profit. Next is factor immobility. Factor means factor of production, labor and capital. So factor immobility occurs when it is difficult for factors of production to move between different areas of the economy. Factor immobility could involve two types of immobilities. First is called the geographical immobility. Geographical immobility means when it is difficult to move from one geographical area A to another geographical area B. This is called geographical immobility. And second type of immobility is occupational immobility. Occupational immobility is then when it is difficult for one factor of production to move to another use. For example, an accountant will find it difficult to start teaching in a school. When it is difficult to move from one type of work to another, this is called occupational immobility. Such a situation where we cannot move our factors of production from one use to another, from one location to another, this is a cause of market failure where resources are not being properly allocated. Moving on to the next area. Now, what are the consequences of market failure? We have seen the causes of market failure. What causes the market failure? Misallocation of resources, social cost being higher than the social benefits. These are the causes. what are the consequences, and how do we correct the market failure? That is the subject of your next subtopic, next learning outcome. So here we'll study the consequences of market failure. The first consequence of market failure is misallocation of resources. Resources will be misallocated. Overconsumption of demerit goods, the goods with the negative externalities. So if left on the free market alone, it would result in overconsumption of demerit goods. It's the consequence or the result of market failure. Overconsumption of goods with external costs. Like driving a car causes pollution. Pollution is an external cost. Overconsumption of goods with external cost means overconsumption or overusage of private cars that causes pollution. That's the consequence of market failure. Underconsumption of merit goods. Education facilities are there, free healthcare facilities are there, but such merit goods are being underconsumed. This is the consequence of market failure. Underconsumption of goods with external benefit. Like public transport has external benefit because it results in less environmental damage, less pollution. So underconsumption of such goods is the consequence of market failure. People drive their own luxury cars and resultantly they consume less of those goods that result with external benefit. How to correct the market failure, we will study in our next lecture, inshallah. Now we have some questions to do. What indicates the existence of an external cost in an economy? An international trade deficit has caused the country to be in debt. The debt on a firm or an individual or the country is not the external cost. National companies have borrowed from foreign investor. Debt is not external cost. C. Private costs of production are less than the social cost. We have already read in detail that social costs, the sum of private costs plus external costs. The question says, what indicates the existence of external cost in an economy? It says private cost of production, this, are less than the social cost. If they are less than the social costs, let's say if the private costs are, let's say, just if we could monetize it, if social costs are $100 and private costs are less than social cost, let's say $20, then in order to make this equation balance, there has to be some external cost. So when your private costs are less than social costs, then definitely the remaining amount would be external cost that has kept the balance. So it means C must be the correct answer, and C it is. Developers want to increase the size of a major retail shopping area in a city. It is thought that the proposal would create hundreds of jobs, be profitable for the shops, but cause major traffic congestions. So what do we see in this example? It's thought that the proposal would create hundreds of jobs, positive externality, be profitable for the shops, that is private benefit, but cause major traffic congestion, external cost. What economic concepts are directly involved in the statement? External cost, yes, it's there. Private benefits, profits for the firms, yes, it's there. So that makes A to be the correct option. Next, what is an example of market failure? Market failure, we have seen the many examples of market failure. Negative goods with negative externalities, demerit goods, underconsumption of public goods, and monopoly profits. When a single firm dominates the market, it will tend to raise the price and reduce the output. This would result in market failure. So we need to look no further. B is the right answer. The following is the headline from the newspaper: car drivers to pay higher taxes. Car driver, private individuals, when they pay higher taxes, so it means their private cost will go up. What will result from an increased tax on car? Increased employment in the car industry. When the taxes go up, people will buy less car, producers will produce less cars, so the employment will go down, not up, wrong. Increased petrol sales. Car drivers to pay higher taxes, they will buy less cars. When there are less cars, less fuel would be needed. So how can we have more sales for fuel? Wrong. Car drivers to pay higher taxes. When they pay higher taxes, they will drive less. When they drive less, it will result in less pollution. So less pollution means reduced external cost of car use. So that makes C to be the correct option. Next. Which government policy would best protect the environment? Encouraging economic growth, more firms, more factories, more pollution. It won't help, it won't protect. Exploiting natural resources, it won't protect the environment. Clearly, natural resources exploitation means cutting off uh, trees and clearing natural environment, natural habitat destroyed. Increasing tax on fuel, yes. Increasing tax on fuel will result in lower use of car, resultantly less pollution. This will protect the environment. C is the right answer. C it is next. An international company drilled for oil in deep water and caused a major oil leakage, definitely negative externality, which affected the jobs of fishing community. The government ordered the company to close the well and to stop drilling in the area. What are the external costs of this incident? Because of this oil leakage, the people who were earning their livelihoods by catching fish, they were affected. This is the external cost borne by this fishing community. The cost borne by the fishing community, that's the external cost, that makes it the right answer.